and the other cadets, everybody loved him. And the loss is the people who never got a chance to meet him.
The deadly consequences of war in Iran hits home in Tampa Bay. Good evening, I'm Keith Kate.
I'm Jennifer Lee. Thank you for joining us. Growing up in Polk County, Cody Cork knew he wanted to serve his country. On Sunday, he was one of 4 soldiers killed in Kuwait during Operation Epic Fury. News Channel 8's Stacy DeSilva joins us live now from Lakeland. And Stacy, you spoke with one of Cody Cork's mentors.
Jen, that's right. Good evening to you. Scott Larond met Captain Cody Cork when he was a ROTC cadet at Florida Southern College. He says he is proud of the man that cadet became, and he knows his soldiers were well led. When Scott Larond needed help on a trip with cadets to Senegal, he knew who to ask. It was Cody Cork.
Here's some of the cadets, and he's observing a cadet trying to communicate.
Larond led the ROTC program at Florida Southern College when Cork was a cadet, just starting to pursue his military career.
Even from an instructor point of view, he's the kind of guy, even when if you talk to him, you're going to leave in a better mood than you were starting in. He just had that natural ability.
Cork was a 2008 graduate of Lake Region High School. In a statement to News Channel 8, his family says Cork felt a calling at an early age to serve his country.
A hero, Captain Cody Cork. He's 35.
Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd with words of support for Cork in his sacrifice.
We'll always appreciate his service, his infectious smile, and we're so brokenhearted that he lost his life, but he was protecting America when he did it.
The 35-year-old enlisted in the National Guard in 2009 and had 3 previous deployments to Saudi Arabia, Guantanamo Bay, and Poland.
He really passionately believed in serving, not just serving the Army, but the oath that we take. And serving and leading it and making the people around him better. He absolutely believed that, and it was fun to see.
Governor Ron DeSantis posted on X this afternoon saying he and the First Lady are saddened to learn that Captain Cork was killed in the line of duty and extended their deepest condolences to his family, friends, and fellow soldiers. Congressman Scott Franklin noted their sacrifice will never be forgotten. Keith?
So many people speaking out on his behalf, and rightly so, but any word on any events planned locally to honor Captain Cork, do you know?
Yeah, Keith, you know, a lot of people here in Polk County and probably across the Bay Area want to know about ways they can show their respects to Captain Cork. And from what I've heard here today, Florida Southern College is planning a way to honor him at a later date in coordination with the ROTC program. So that's coming up.
Growing conflict in the Middle East has left U.S. citizens trapped, including people from our area. The U.S. State Department has told Americans over a dozen countries to leave immediately if they can. News Channel 8's Ryan Arbogast spoke with 2 mothers from Hillsborough County and Pinellas County who are stuck in a war zone in Kuwait. He joins us now live in the Tampa newsroom with the latest details. Ryan.
Josh, you could hear the terror in these women's words. You could hear the bombs going off in the background, and you could hear the pain. It was obvious. These women just want guidance on how to get home, how to get back to their families, and how to stay alive. The sky lit up by missiles.
Missile threat warning. Carbon shelter in place.
Bombs, the new norm.
They're dissipating now, but they were intercepted here. Look, and there.
Falling debris, a constant fear for 2 Florida mothers stuck in Kuwait.
It's dangerous. We're in a danger zone.
These 2 women from Hillsborough and Pinellas counties fearful of Iranian retaliation, shielding their identities but sharing their story to beg for help.
If you stay on the phone long enough, you'll hear the sirens and you'll hear the bombs.
Americans across the Middle East are stranded, living in active war zones like this one, since airstrikes began over the weekend.
Well, pray for us because we can't leave and we're sitting watching missiles going in the air, hearing sirens, and we can't do anything. We can't go anywhere.
Airports have been bombed, and commercial flights in many cases are impossible. It's the reason local nonprofit Grable Rescue has already brought at least 70 people back to safety from places like Israel.
Rescues are not war zone Uber. If you're calling us, you've had a very bad day, no matter who you are.
President Trump has said the attacks could continue for at least a month. a timeline that these trapped Floridians think could put their lives in even more danger.
We just need help. We need help. We need answers. Number one, answers. We want to know what's going on. How come they're not communicating? How come they're not helping? Why did they just abandon us? This is the most powerful country in the world.
Guys, we've connected those women and other Americans stuck in Kuwait with Grable Rescue. The nonprofit's rescues are 100% free, and they say they will continue missions until the funds are at zero or they're able to bring in more donations. Live in the Tampa newsroom tonight, Ryan Arbogast, 8 on your side.
With the U.S. State Department putting out worldwide travel warnings following the airstrikes in Iran, it's more important now than ever that Americans take precautions when it concerns their safety abroad. News Channel 8's Alessandra Young sat down with a retired military commander to talk about what that means for people in the Bay Area.
I spoke with retired Navy SEAL Commander Dan O'Shea, who has a lot of experience in the Middle East. And he tells me right now people need to be monitoring the news and airlines for updates during this tenuous time.
Retired Navy SEAL Commander Dan O'Shea served for 29 years.
Travel safety, hostage rescue, kidnapping is something that I know very close. And
right now, he says anyone in the Middle East could be at risk.
Virtually anyone traveling in the region, in the Gulf states, American or otherwise, needs to be aware and be, use caution that, these incoming missiles are hitting indiscriminately hotels, airports.
And if you have an upcoming trip, you need to be aware of your surroundings.
Every time there's a major incident, anytime the warfare, especially if the U.S. is involved, it unfortunately puts a target on every American, anywhere you're traveling.
He says the airstrikes will continue, and if you're in an area that's getting hit by missiles, the safest place is to be inside.
If there's alarms going off, that are basically announcing that, hey, we've got an air raid coming, you need to get into the center of the hotel and inners. Do not get on the outside. Do not go outside to gawk.
Now, he says Americans will have a target on their back as this conflict draws out, and people here in our area also need to be cautious.
Because of MacDill Air Force Base, headquarters for Special Operations Command, headquarters for Central Command, Tampa is a target, New York is a target, D.C. is a target, but it's not just going to happen, and it could happen in our own backyard, even here in Tampa. So people need to be prepared and be aware of the environment.
The veteran says there are plenty of countries where being American is not something you really want to advertise.
When I travel overseas, I try to blend in as much as possible. You want to be the gray man or the gray woman. You want to just kind of blend in.
O'Shea tells me for anyone that's traveling or about to take a trip, keep your passports hidden and do not draw any attention to yourself. In Tampa, I'm Alessandra Young, 8 on your side.
A suspect is behind bars for the abduction and sexual assault of a Temple Terrace teenager. This morning, the police department shared details regarding the arrest. News Channel 8's Emmy Darkia joins us live from Temple Terrace to explain more. Emmy.
Yes, Josh, the arrest happened last night, and the suspect is facing multiple felony charges. Community members say that they are happy to see the alleged predator off the streets.
It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful, so this is a pretty quiet town. We don't have much drama like that around here.
Brian Oyanguren Rosado was arrested Wednesday night just after 10 o'clock at the intersection of Bullard and 56th. Authorities say this is the man accused of sexually assaulting and abducting a teen, although his image does not match the description they initially provided to the public.
I'm very shocked that this would even happen in Temple Terrace. Everyone knows Temple Terrace is the place that don't play. So somewhere else, yes, even though it shouldn't be going on, but Temple Terrace, no.
Jandy Merrill captured this video last night. As a mother, she says she's relieved this man is no longer free.
Temple Terrace, police department's coming to get you. That's my message. There ain't nowhere you can hide.
Deputy Chief Mills said that on Tuesday afternoon, and a day later, they had a suspect in custody and fulfilled that promise. They say the community's help was invaluable during the investigation.
The community and the police department have such a great rapport that I'm sure they were able to get people to assist right away.
Oyanguren Rosado is facing 3 felony charges for sexual battery. He's also facing a charge for kidnapping. He's being held at the Orient Road Jail without bond.
And police told us that this remains an active investigation. We are working to get you more details. Live in Temple Terrace, Emmy Darkia, 8 on your side.
On January 17th of 2008, Denise Amber Lee was abducted in broad daylight from her Northport home. She was driven around for hours before being raped and murdered Throughout her abduction, a number of 911 calls were made, including from Denise herself. But with communication failures between dispatchers, help arrived too late, leaving behind her husband and their 2 young sons.
Denise and I were soulmates. We were supposed to be together forever. We knew it. We were madly in love.
But forever ended in early 2008 when Denise was kidnapped from her own driveway.
I mean, it was a nightmare, right? I mean, it was a total nightmare.
Denise was 17 when she caught Nathan's eye in their high school calculus class, and they instantly fell in love. They got married a year later and started a family soon after. But in a snap, everything changed, leaving Nathan to raise their 6-month and 2-year-old sons, Adam and Noah, without their mom. The man responsible for Denise's abduction and murder was this man, Michael King.
Guilty of murder in the first.
After a lengthy trial, King received the death penalty, and now after nearly 2 decades, an execution date has finally been set, March 17th. What was the first thing that came to your mind?
Relief, I think, is really the first, just finally, finally we can put that behind us.
Does that bring you a sense of closure, peace, justice?
I think justice was served when the jury sentenced him to death, right? And he's been sitting in prison for 18 years. I just think we're all ready to just be able to kind of take a deep breath and have that be done and know that he's not here anymore.
The last words Nathan ever heard his wife speak were from a 911 call she secretly made during her abduction.
Are you gonna help me? Are you gonna let me out now? I just want to see my kids again.
As a result of mishandled 911 calls in this case, including Denise's, Nathan established the Denise Amber Lee Act, requiring mandatory standards for 911 centers. It was first passed in Florida and has gone on to be adopted in other states nationwide.
That would be exactly what she would have wanted us to do. Instead of hating an industry and being mad at 911 for the rest of our lives, instead we wanted to embrace them and lift them up and just thank them for what they do and just try to keep these things from happening again.
If you could say one more thing to Denise, like what do you want to tell her? If she could come here right now, what would you tell her?
I think I would just tell her, we're doing okay. And, but, we miss her. And I wish she was still here. And there's a lot of things I'd want to say, but if it was a limited amount of time, and I'd probably transfer my time over to Noah and Adam so that they could have as much of it as they could. Because, I got an amazing 4 years with her, and they didn't get even close to that. So, but yeah, I would tell her we're doing all right, but there's still a hole, and there always will be. So we miss her a lot.
Tomorrow, we will hear from the woman believed to be the last person to see Denise alive. That witness's 911 call became central to the case, and 911 changes. Cassandra Mishak, 8 on your side. In 2008, Denise Amber Lee was kidnapped in broad daylight from her Northport home. She was driven around for hours, raped, and murdered. This case became notorious across the country because at least 4 people called 911, including Denise herself. But poor communication between dispatchers cost critical time.
If the police would have responded to my call, they could have, I think they could have prevented her death. She would be alive today.
Thursday, January 17th of 2008 is a day that Jane Kowalski will never forget. She was heading south on US 41 from Tampa to Fort Myers to visit her grandmother and sister. But when she got to a cross street right outside of Sarasota, she started hearing screams.
And I looked to the left of me, and there was a car next to me with a man with blonde hair, and I could hear the screaming, and he kept turning around trying to push somebody down in the back seat. He just looked at me, and I looked at him, and he kept pushing the head down, and the hand came up and started banging on the window of the car. Even louder than that. I mean, it was very loud. It was a very high-pitched scream, and I thought it was a child screaming. So I called 911.
And screaming, like screaming, and not a happy scream, like
Get me out of here, scream.
While staying on the phone for over 9 minutes with the dispatcher, Kowalski tried following the car for as long as she could.
Something's going on because he's going even slower now.
And when the light turned, he wouldn't go. He hesitated.
But with too much traffic, she lost sight of the car and the call with the dispatcher ended.
I really thought a police officer was going to come and pull him over, right? But no, it didn't happen.
Since Kowalski was crossing county lines, her call was routed to a different call center in Charlotte County, and dispatchers there failed to forward the information to the proper authorities. At least 3 other 911 calls were made that day, including from Denise herself, secretly managing to dial 911 from her kidnapper's phone.
Please let me go. Please let me go.
Do you think you would be in a different spot right now if the 911 system did not fail that day?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Denise would still be here if the 911 system didn't fail.
As a result of the mishandled 911 calls in this case, Denise's husband, Nathan, helped pass the Denise Amber Lee Act, establishing standards for 911 operator and dispatcher training. It was first passed in Florida and has since been adopted in many other states, with dispatchers across the nation using Denise's story during training sessions.
They play the call that I made. They play that in their training. They make sure that the people that they're training know that this is not the way that you handle a call.
Michael King is the man responsible for the abduction and murder of Denise Amber Lee. After a long trial, Michael King was sentenced to death, and now after nearly 2 decades, his execution date has finally been set. How does it make you feel knowing that Michael King is going to be executed on March 17th?
It's justice. You know, it takes such a long time, but it's happening.
Denise's husband travels around the country sharing her story to make sure no call for help ever goes unanswered again. So far, he's been to 48 out of the 50 states, but with around 18 states still not adopting the legislation, he says he's ready to keep fighting that battle. Cassandra Mishak, 8 on your side.